His name was Arthur Pinter, a man lost to the footnotes of history, buried beneath an avalanche of forgotten stories. To look at him, he seemed unremarkable. A quiet librarian in a small English town, with a penchant for tweed jackets and an old, worn-out satchel. But Arthur Pinter harbored a secret, a condition so rare, so unsettling, that it defied belief and shook the very foundations of human biology. Because Arthur Pinter, for the last 40 years of his life, never blinked. Imagine a world where your eyes are always open, always absorbing, never a moment of reprieve from the constant onslaught of light, dust, and the simple, brutal reality of the world. It began subtly, a brief, almost imperceptible pause in the rhythm of his blinks. His wife, Eleanor, dismissed it as a simple distraction, a byproduct of his obsessive focus on his work. But the pauses grew longer. Seconds turned into minutes, and minutes into an endless, unblinking stare. Eleanor described it as feeling like she was in the presence of a statue, a living, breathing sculpture with eyes that saw everything but betrayed nothing. The doctors offered no answers. They ran tests, consulted journals, but every conclusion led to the same bewildered silence. No known medical condition could explain this. His eyes, by all accounts, should have dried out, become infected, but they remained pristine. It was as if his body had simply forgotten one of its most fundamental functions. Now, before we dive deeper into the chilling mystery behind Arthur's condition and the strange events that followed, if you're as fascinated by these untold stories as I am, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us uncover more of these hidden tales from the pages of history. The silence, the lack of a simple blink, changed him. People began to talk. The children in the town whispered stories of the M's, Anne with glass eyes. They would dare each other to try and make him blink, to make some small flicker of life appear in his gaze. But nothing ever did. Arthur's inner world, which was always deeply private, became an unbreachable fortress. He stopped speaking, not out of choice, but because people found it too unnerving to hold a conversation with a man who simply stared. Then came the letter. A frantic, desperate note from Eleanor to a distant cousin. "He doesn't blink," she wrote, "but he also doesn't forget. He remembers every word, every lie, every small injustice. It's like he's a living archive. I believe it's his eyes. They've become like sponges. They hold on to things that should have been forgotten." This was the horrifying truth. Arthur's unblinking state wasn't just a physical condition. It was a psychological one. Without the small, momentary reset of a blink, his mind had lost its filter. Every visual detail, every fleeting expression, every minute change in his environment was permanently etched into his memory. He remembered the exact spot where a fly landed on the wall 10 years ago. He remembered the exact number of crumbs left on a table after his morning toast. He remembered every single lie his neighbor had ever told. The world, for Arthur, had become an overwhelming cacophony of details, a relentless tidal wave of information that his brain could no longer process. His mind, once so organized, became a chaotic mess of triviality and profound truths. The emotional toll was immense. He wasn't withdrawn because he wanted to be. He was withdrawn because he was drowning in the sheer volume of his own perception. Eleanor found him one morning, sitting in his favorite armchair, his eyes wide open, staring at a blank wall. He had passed away in his sleep. His expression was one of profound peace, a look of finally being able to rest. The medical report listed the cause of death as a cardiac event, but those who knew him believed something else. They believed Arthur's heart had simply given up under the weight of an unblinking life. The sheer exhausting burden of seeing everything, of forgetting nothing. He wasn't a man who never blinked. He was a man who saw too much. And so, the bizarre case of Arthur Pinter remains a haunting lesson in what it means to truly see the world. Not just with our eyes, but with our minds, and perhaps a gentle reminder of why we are so lucky to have that tiny fleeting moment of darkness. The simple, life-giving power of a blink. If you found this story compelling and want to support the uncovering of more hidden histories, please like and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world.